But some of the challenges that I think are twofold. So one is the past comes into play. So again, depending what generation that you come from, there's a lot of generations that were raised in children should be seen and not heard. Super hard, I think, for women to stand up, speak up, show up, because their business esteem and their self-esteem are interrelated. So
Hello, beautiful people of the world. Welcome back to the Happy Conversation Idea Show, the number one happiness, career, and lifestyle podcast in the world. Here you can learn and flourish with the thoughts, ideas, and the stories of the happiest and the most successful people in the world. I'm Happy Bains, your happiness host and certified career and lifestyle coach. This powerful episode is proudly sponsored by a special guest, Deborah Drummond. Deborah is a celebrated entrepreneur. She was born and raised in Vancouver, Canada. She is internationally recognized for her pioneering work with women in business. In the past 30 years, she has created 7 companies with her passion for entrepreneurship and love for health and wellness. She is the founder of the Debrummond.com, Debrummond.com. Recognized as an international speaker, a number one best-selling author, and host of successful podcast and media company. She has inspired, educated, and motivated audience of 20,000 plus to stand on their feet. This little dynamo is purpose-filled to live her mission to help women show up, stand up, and speak up in their business and personal life. Today, Deborah will happily share the profound yet simple secret and how it works. She will creatively explain you how you can prove to yourself the enormous returns possible in your own life by putting this anti-aging and wealth management secrets to a practical test. It means we can achieve nothing without paying a valuable price. So what is the price? And why should we pay? And how can we pay? Let's hear from our special guest, Deb. Special dear friend Deborah is on our show. Deborah, welcome to the show.
hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for your precious time. It's been a while. We've been coordinating and finally we make it to come on the show. And I'm very delighted that you've given your precious time and I will not waste it. But I'm so excited that our audience is excited to know about your secret tips and your beauty and all the other businesses you're doing from over 3 decades. So I'm so excited. So without getting delayed, I will just dive into the questions which me and my audience and our audience is waiting to learn from us. So please tell us about why and how you got clarity to choose your highly successful career and business path.
Oh my goodness. You know what? It was a magic moment. Like, honestly, it was a magic moment. So I have owned 7 companies and they're all in a very strong, positive minded sector. But I will tell you the moment that I had the epiphany. So I was in the music industry.
Yes.
Like any good person, you kind of wonder if it's going to be your lifelong journey, but I was in the music industry. And so, I would get home from work at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, 6 a.m, because that's just how it was.
Yes.
And so, a couple of girlfriends went out after, and, we usually end up sitting with the band and having some chat and having later. And I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning, we get home. And I literally went into the bathroom to take off my makeup. Yeah. Now, I am talking a number of years ago, because like you said, I've done 30 decades in entrepreneurship, and this was my step in. I had no idea it was coming. I didn't plan it. I didn't think I'd be an entrepreneur one day. Like, none of those things ran through my head. I was really kind of morally living in the moment. Anyways, I went to go take the makeup off, and I looked in the mirror, and the mirror went pitch black.
Woo! Wow.
Pitch black. Like I was like, what? Like, I couldn't see myself. And whether it was 30 seconds, 3 minutes, it felt like 3 hours. And I literally had this sheer panic that ran over my body. And I was like, I can't see myself. And then all of a sudden the mirror came back. Wow. And for whatever reason, I was like, I need to stop doing what I was doing. I literally called in to work the next day. I didn't have another job. I didn't know where I was going to get a paycheck. I was younger. And I'm like, I can't come in. And they're like, oh, have you got the flu or something? And I'm like, no, like, I can't come in. Like, I'm not coming back. And they're like, you're not coming back? Like, and I mean, I'm not even the kind of person to leave someone hanging. I'm like, I'm not coming back. They're like, what? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I had no answer for my behavior other than that propelled me into exploring other ways of living. And then I went down this personal discovery and personal growth journey, and then found a flyer one day in a restaurant that I went to. Took 45 minutes for me to drive there because it was the only sugar-free, gluten-free bakery,
Wow.
30 years ago in the city. And I
Yes.
saw a flyer out of the corner of my eye, and I picked up that flyer and called that woman. And 30 years later, here I am.
Wow. This is
Wow.
incredible, yet simple, yet profound incident that it happened. Something went blacked out. You were in
Yeah.
dark, but you came in a bright new light from the dark tunnel. And you not only achieved your profound success in your business, and you're helping others too. Such an incredible story and a real moment. I'm very delighted. Thanks for sharing that. We didn't know this untold story of Deborah.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I just came up today. So, lucky you.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Please tell us about, is being a woman entrepreneur is more challenging or rewarding?
Both. I
Okay.
would say, from someone who's, I always say when I talk to people, and I'm creating this big women's event right now. And so I talk to women entrepreneurs on a daily basis. I say, look, I've been an entrepreneur for 31 years. I started the first women's networking group in
Wow.
my basement suite. You could bring your kids if you had them, Sunday at 2, because, we all had to take our kids to school. I mean, it sounds archaic, but, and everyone brought $2 to cover the costs for food and for drinks and everything for everybody. And we got together as this small community of these women that wanted to do something, and we didn't quite have the support. There was not one networking group for women in business 31 years ago when I started. So I have to say that it was pioneering, but there was some bruises and some scrapes. I went through the, families going, what? And I also went into holistic services. I mean, you're going to be an entrepreneur. What, you're going to sell aromatherapy? What are you doing? And so, that's great. So there was a lot of barriers to break, for sure.
Okay.
And I think in terms of rewarding, that's so defined differently. I mean, the reward for me was being able to be, the parent that could go on to the pumpkin patch on Halloween with my kid and come home and work later if I needed to. Like, I didn't have to ask anybody for time off, but
Okay.
I also didn't get maternity leave, and I didn't get sick leave, and I didn't get that. So I think that's kind of what I call a flatline question, where reward equals challenge.
Walker. Fantastic. Well explained. And it is very challenging that sometimes we only consider these are challenges one should do or do not, but they are rewarding. But we try sometimes to ignore our rewards, which we get in the daily process of our beginning of our career or business, because it's not visible and we think we are in a dark tunnel. But how you explained is very brilliantly that you emphasize on that is just not only challenging, but rewarding as well too. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, please tell us about what are the biggest joy you and your clients get from the health aging, anti-aging industry, because you're talking about the holistic. Can you just share about that? What joys you and your clients get that?
Oh, you know what? It's the long game.
Okay.
It's the long game. So look, I'm 58, right?
Okay.
And I've had, I've had a life. I've had friends from my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s. It's interesting. So when I go and I hang out or go to an event or go to something or a reunion or what have you with people that I used to go to school with or used to do this with or used to be in the music scene with, particularly those guys, they're like, wow, you look better now than you did before. And the look isn't just my skin, or the look isn't just how I'm dressed. It's the look, it's the energy, it's the vibrancy. People say to me, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you accomplished so much. I'm like, I teach brain health and I actually take my own advice.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so I think the anti-aging, reversing of the organs, absolutely, you're going to look better. I mean, okay, that's just a given. It's just the way the body works. But actually, it's your capacity for life that I think really has been profound for me. I mean, I'm still taking on projects. Right now I'm training to do 8 marathons. I mean,
wow.
This comes from, in 8 days, who knew? So this comes from a consistent, consecutive choice of sacrifice sometimes. Like, hey, would you like to have a piece of dessert? No, it's not going to work for me. Right. So it didn't come with it came with some sacrifice. And I always say this, I am the most important piece of real estate I own. Sure. Wow. I own property. Sure. I own this. But if I don't, it's interesting. People are like, oh, I can't afford good nutraceuticals. I'm like, did you go get those pillows from Winners and pay $50? Stop it. Just stop it. Stop buying unnecessary things and pour the money into yourself.
True.
So that's my philosophy on that. But it's the long term goal that benefits from anti-aging. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I think you also said that is connected to meditation too. And I know and believe, and our clients knows that, but our global audience doesn't know about the meditation you practice. So my next question is, what strategies or methods of meditation do you practice and teach that helps to people not only become more glorious and charming in anti-aging wise, but also on a spiritual side as well too? If you can just highlight some of that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I would say God's put me here to heal the bank tellers. And what I mean by that is that when people meet me, they're like, oh, you know, people sometimes have a picture of what someone who teaches meditation looks like. And maybe I don't fit that mold. You know what I mean? Like I might have a suit on that day and I might be in a bank teaching about meditation or what have you, right? You know, it's kind of trendy. It hit a trend. I was in before the trend. Obviously, when people thought, what the heck are you doing with your life? So I think for me, one of the biggest impacts I've been able to make in terms of meditation is that I do it in a group format. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I'll go to retreats or people will hire me to come to events or summits or that kind of thing. And I do a lot of group retreat. So I do a lot of that because people feel comfortable. Ironically, a lot of that kind of work I've done, like people call me, you know, a professional hippie or the professional intuitive. And so I have this way with people that are entrepreneurs that want to be able to use meditation or intuitive services or intuitive ways of thinking to better their bottom line, to make a better decision on what marketing they do. Like seriously, I have someone coming over for a 3-hour session and we're doing a intuitive meditation. We'll do a meditation beforehand and we will actually lay out his whole 2023 and 2024 marketing strategy. Wow. It might seem really different, but the truth is, whether it's your business, your personal life, your mental health, your physical health, if you can start in a place of calm and being tapped into source, you're so much more clear and so more focused. And when you can capture that and then pour it into the project or whatever you're doing, then you have a cleaner path ahead. So I think, honestly, I do a lot in group. Or I do a lot of one-on-one. For me personally, it's about getting quiet. And you know, and I'll just share something. My most powerful, profound meditations, I actually do in the bath.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. Incredible. Thanks for sharing, Deborah. We didn't know about that. These are the golden nuggets our audience are getting. And also when you say calm and all, I strongly believe in, I do practice as a career and lifestyle coach, which I do too as well. So meditation, calm, and being in the presence, the most biggest gift we have, and we can also share with us, the power of presence, being now, being present is such astonishing thing that we can experience in the entire universe, being in presence, being calm. And that's why we can learn ourselves so that we can know what we want, need, and desire so others are not confused. So I really appreciate what you exactly, how you explained that part too. Well, thank you so much. And please tell us about, so why do you feel so strongly about the direct sales marketing versus the other type of businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So the interesting thing is, you know, I told you how I came into my world of going to, you know, how I found that flyer and fell into the world of holistic medicine. Right before that, before I got, you know, I got pregnant with my daughter, but before I got pregnant with my daughter, I was actually on my way to go get a degree in women's studies. And my goal was to work with women in third world countries. And so I love economics. I love economics.
You can see that.
Yeah, so there's two things about the direct sales industry that I love. One is that when I was younger and my mom was a single mom, my dad had, you know, moved on, we shall say, and she was not left financially fluid. That's, you know, I'll put it that way. So at that time, she joined a home party company. It was called Tupperware. And at 8 years old, she used to take me to these parties because she couldn't afford a babysitter. Well, it was the first time that I got to sit in what I call a circle of commerce. Okay. There was women excited, talking, supporting each other, making purchases that they felt good about knowing they were supporting someone. And it was really interesting. It made an impact on me. And then again, when I was in the music industry, my mother got involved in the industry again. And she was in clothing and t-shirt dresses, and she would just make $1 kajillion off everyone I knew in the clubs. And so I saw this as a positive movement. Didn't really think much about it until I started, until I had the vision to create my own. The three things that I love about it from a product standpoint and quality and integrity and efficacy is that the word of mouth is the most incredible form of marketing. Yes. If you don't have a good product, you better not put it in a direct sales company, because we talk and people talk. And so I know that there's a higher level of play in terms of product. There just has to be, or they won't survive. But the other thing is that the direct sales industry is the most equal opportunity employer in the world.
True.
It's the most equal opportunity employer. Sometimes having an MBA is not to your asset there. Having drive, having heart, wanting to be a servant leader and helping others. And so when you think about that, I have seen people that have had nothing be able to work and build. Look, this is not fantasy. That part about the industry. Oh, you too can sign one person and, fly in a jet. Let's get over that. So no one does that. It's not how it works. So if you're willing and you want to, then you can. Now, the beautiful thing I love about it as well is that it's flexible and pliable. As a woman who was studying women in economics, in North America where we are, there's only 13% of the women in North America that are millionaires. But out of those millionaires, 85% of them are in this industry. Wow. Now, why is that? It is because you can stay home and work. True. You can be at the doctor's with your kids and text. You can take care of your aging parents. Now, I'm not putting all of that onus on women, but by nature, that has been the defining, those roles have been more by women. But the other thing is there's no ceiling level. Okay. It's actually an opposite. It's that the people above you will do more to rise you up because they benefit as well. And also people from the bottom are rising you up because it's a win-win situation. Great. So that's why I love it. And that's why I work so hard is having people to understand it is a professional business choice. It's taught now in universities. So,
okay. Yeah, I agree that the way you explain it has logic in that too, and practically way that people on the top, they're also not pushing you to stay themselves as a top. They're also pulling you up so that you can also flourish and become financial freedom in the aspect too. Now, when you talk about the finance with women and finance, please tell us about what are the women's biggest challenges with the starting a new business will be that they should monitor or they should acknowledge. Can you shed light on that, please?
Yeah, I think as we come into this, as the world has changed in terms of side gig and new economy and all of that kind of stuff, I think it's very blended. It's very blended. So I think that, both genders are coming into the marketplace pretty strong in relationship to numbers. But some of the challenges that I think are twofold. So one is the past comes into play. So again, depending what generation that you come from, there's a lot of generations that were raised in children should be seen and not heard. Super hard, I think, for women to stand up, speak up, show up, because their business esteem and their self-esteem are interrelated. So when I work with people, like I just finished, working with a client, when I work with people, it happens to be a very cool woman. Part of my work is also worth work and value work. And we still don't make the same amount of money. And we're empathetic in how we charge. And, we're the first person to give something for free by nature, because there has been a lot of coaching and building in that arena, right? So just like you are a natural giver, you're more empathic, someone can't afford it, you want to give it to them, particularly if you're in the holistic world. So there's been a lot of, I think you have to, depending again on the generation that you come from. And then there was a thing about earning your wings. That's also interesting from a generational standpoint. I'm doing a big project of 17 to 70-year-old women. Wow. And you have some women coming in. It's the first time I believe, in the world where, we used to have to earn our wings. So when you've been 10 years in the business, 20 years in the business, 30 years in the business, you earned your reputation, but in comes a new influx of younger entrepreneurs. They're getting younger and younger and younger entrepreneurs, and it's being more and more accepted. There's the universities and colleges are having a lower not attendance rate, but registration rate, because people are going into the world of entrepreneurship, and people are like, you go, you, peace, peace. Well, 10 years ago, they weren't doing that. They weren't going, yeah, you go, you, right? So now they're coming in with different skills, right? You've got different media skills, social media skills. And sometimes people that have been in business for a while, where this is a new paradigm, their business esteem starts to drop because they don't know how to capture this. This generation is coming in strong, yet they still don't have the experience that this generation does. And so this is, I believe, the first time I've ever seen a collaborative where this generation desperately needs this generation. I mean, these people know how to shake hands, do business with their word. You know, they understand that. And then this generation coming in where they're really strong on a lot of, AI and VR, and they lack the skills to talk to somebody. I mean, they don't know how to close a deal in front of somebody. They are afraid to stand up on a stage because all they've done has been behind a camera. So it's very interesting. Different generations, different problems.
I appreciate that, how you differentiate, and you explained about that, the generation and the problem, and since the time which you started 3 decades ago, and what the differences and transformation has happened in the AI and the new social media now. Can you just share, how do you champion practical creative ideas to produce results?
So how do I champion creative ideas?
To produce results.
Yeah. 2 words.
Okay.
Reverse engineering.
I love it.
Reverse engineering. And so even those of us, I'm a creative. People are like, oh, you've had lots of businesses. And I'm like, well, just consider me like an artist, a painter, and I paint, a multitude of different styles. So when you have a creative idea, it's explosive and it's sexy and it's fun, and you can get, you can do a brain blast and you can write down all the ideas, and it's a really big creative flow. I tell people to stay in the flow and write. Get a whiteboard, write all your ideas down. Oh my gosh, and I can call this person and I can do that. And I'm like, and don't take any activity yet. Just write it down. Get it down. Get it in a format. I mean, I don't want to squander someone at that time and say we should do a business plan. I'm like, just let it flow. Then we need to add a little bit of what I call linear, or Shakti Shiva, or whatever it is, yin yang. And then I'm going to go, okay, this is phenomenal. And now let's take it and let's engineer it. Let's take a look at this. And I usually start with the end goal.
Okay.
So I might do a 5-year end goal. And then I go, okay, so now our first year to that 5-year, what's our goal there? And then we start to reverse engineer it. And then we implement activity. And then we implement needs. And it's almost like a strategic business plan without going and doing the research and what have you, just so that there's a relationship between all this creative flow and there's some kind of plan. So linearly, and then it's like, now let's make a decision. Now, we can do this in a couple hours. Now, what it's going to take. Are you still excited? Does this still work for you? Yes. Okay. Then let's just go deeper. And can you fund it? Can you not? And then that's a whole different ballgame. But reverse engineer.
Reverse engineering. I will keep that in mind, and I will try to use and learn and use that strategy and see how it works, because I have no doubt on your intelligence and skills. Over 3 decades, you've been doing that. So thanks for sharing this valuable ideas and championing new idea and how you get results. Our audience might use this and they also get benefits. So please tell us about your book, which you have written. So let us learn about that book. I'm very fascinated about learning books and reading books. So please share about some ideas. How did you got inspired with writing that book and came with the idea, and how much audience is getting benefit out of it, please?
Okay. Well, there's a number of books that I've taken to market. So you know what, I'm going to, and there's another big book that we're working on right now, and we know what's going to happen there. And because we're so I tend to work, my books tend to be collaboratives. Okay. So I pool people together that are in a certain sector. So if someone is listening and they're like, wow, I'd love to do a book together, my fellow colleagues that are accountants or that are artists or that have something in common, we all experienced this, then I bring it together, and I bring it together almost like a movement. So the last book that I had took to market last July, right? Yes. And it was actually ironically in the direct sales industry, right? Yes. 22 women entrepreneurs in history making couples. And so what we do is when you collaborate, the whole idea around that book, every book has its own mission. I've got one I'm working on right now with 262 women. Yes. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. So the 22, right? The 22. So the mission of that book was collectively was to share your stories. Yes. To tell your story. You had to be a 6-figure income earner and 5 years in the industry, because you're going to tell your stories and you're going to tell people how you got successful. And so you have to have had, a couple of butt kickings in there. And so So as they told their story, it was a relatable plethora. Now, it might have been in the direct sales industry, but anyone can read it. Any entrepreneur can read it because you will relate to those stories. There's
True.
men in there, there's women in there, there's couples in there. And so there's short stories, 5 or 6 pages of kind of triumph, but success techniques. Look, I made it by doing this. And so
Yes.
it raises the bar of the profession. I just got my numbers back. I mean, we're super excited. We were #1 in Amazon for a month, and we've made 141 million impressions in business journals with this book.
Congratulations.
Because I believe, thank you. Yeah, it takes a little while work to do that. So I think the success of the book has been that we all got on the same page.
Nice.
There's a nice pun for you. All on the same page on the mission of the book and being able to spread and share it out. Now, here's the thing. When you get into a book, it's the continual usage of that book.
Yes.
Right. So people produce books and then they're like, I got 50 of them in my closet. And I'm like, why would you do that? So I say that your book is your biggest business card. If you're in business, whether it's a side gig or whatever it is, it's your biggest business card. And you should be giving it away as much as your business card because it tells people something about you. Yeah.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. And we are eager. So we will be pointing on all the direction and links below this show. So our audience can happily purchase and book that. And you can send some autographs to them. That's what I do with my book too as well. Well, thanks for sharing, Deborah. This is wonderful. Now, quickly tell us about how to recognize opportunities when you are young. When someone is young, how to recognize opportunity?
Okay. Well, I mean, how to recognize an opportunity when you're young? I mean,
yes.
Okay. The world is a very abundant place. It's a very abundant place. And I think that there is opportunity everywhere. Yeah. I think it comes with the decision to keep whether you want to keep third eye or keep your intuitive eye or keep your ears open to seeing what you see and register that information as data. Is there someone that you love that is doing something that you're following? Watch and see what they're doing. If you want to create an opportunity, listen to where people are frustrated.
Yes.
Listen to where people are frustrated. When I was making everyone's like, you should do a group coaching. When I was listening to people, I'm like, what am I going to do? I could teach reverse engineering. I could teach it. What am I going to do? And I'm like, there's a lot of people frustrated in the network marketing industry. I hear them say they're frustrated. I see them say they're frustrated. So I am going to make a program called Become a CEO of Your Own Direct Sales Business. It's specifically for people that are frustrated. So if you are looking for an opportunity, you can look to see what's missing in the world by listening to how people are talking. I mean, someone came up with a spatula for a reason because someone couldn't flip pancakes with a knife. So you can look to see what's missing and fill it, or you can look to see what's working and tap into it.
I like
two things.
Fantastic. That's a great strategy. I hope they will understand this and take valuable information to get transformation from that too as well. Now, when you're talking about love and money, my next question to you is, please tell us how we can protect a love relationship from not getting too egoistic about money and fame. Because when you're in the direct marketing, you can become overnight sensation, or in a business, an entrepreneurship, you can find a service or product and become overnight a millionaire or billionaire. How we can protect our relationship for not getting too egoistic about money?
So our love relationship, you mean the people in our lives? The people in our lives? Okay. Yeah. So there's a couple of things. One is, we already talked about it. Meditate, stay calm. And I remind people in the very beginning, why are you doing this business? Why are you doing this business? And when people start to have success, that's a different type of coaching, as you know, because people might be afraid of everything that they wanted. You have to watch out for when they start to sabotage. But if they start to get inflated, is the word that I use. If they start to get inflated and lose oneself, they have to find ways to stay in their body and stay with self. That's where I believe a coach is really important, because a coach can see things that you're doing that you can't see. And I'll tell you, it's very important to give your coach the permission, once you have a rapport, not from the first get-go, to be able to call you out, like, hey, yo, dude, there was a time when you couldn't. And so watch your verbiage. If you hear yourself becoming irritated with the new,
Yes.
Irritated with people that are new.
Sure.
Lack of tolerance, lack of patience.
Yes.
Go on a vacation, remember who you are, remember your roots, listen to some country music, whatever your music was that took you back to a childhood. Write your story, remember your story. I think it's important. A lot of people, honestly, when they write their own business story, they remember. Now, the beautiful thing about direct sales is that you are constantly remembering your newness because you have new people coming into your organization that have that glow or that fear or that what have you. So you're doing a lot of remembrance. But the other thing is in your love relationship, having grounded activities and having that person remind you like, yo, and staying humble. Like people say, as much as they wouldn't call me quiet as a person, people will say, Deb's quietly professional. I'm like, I'm just stay grounded, right? Stay grounded.
I appreciate that, Deborah, how you projected that when you inflating by wealth wise, by monetary gain wise, tangible wise, one should not forget about the intangible, the value in your relationship is where you started, why you started, and how you grew up. And all of a sudden, when you're making money, one should not take advantage of each other partnership that now I'm big, you are not earning, I'm earning the one, I'm the breadwinner. Well, when you started, you both were nothing or you both were everything. But being humble, I love that word in the dictionary, which is humble, with integrity and courtesy. Any relationship can go beyond the imagination. I believe in courtesy and integrity a lot, as you said, humble. So thanks for sharing that valuable information. It can transform the people's life, no doubt. Deborah, now, thanks for sharing this first segment. Let's jump to our second segment, this round called Make the World Happy Round. Are you ready?
Round. I'm so ready.
So ready. Let's do it. Short and sweet answers, rapid fire. All right. What does happiness means to you?
Oh my gosh. Big question. What does happiness mean to me? Peace.
Peace. Okay. What does success means to you?
Satisfaction and legacy.
Satisfaction and legacy. Ooh. What does failure mean to you?
Inevitable.
Ooh, la. Okay, Deborah, now here is that. You have to choose one, okay? You have to choose one. What do you like more in your life? Love, sex, money, or fame?
Love.
Ooh, why?
Because that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Like you can, sex is lovely.
Yep.
But love has remembrance. It's resonant, right? Love is longer. Success without love, fame without love, that to me, that feels discombobulated and hollow. Not shallow, but hollow. So
astonishing. I love that. I really admire the way you put it at that. And I'm going to listen this again and again because very enlightening and very blissful. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, next, jump on. Do you believe in working harder, smarter, or faster? Or anything else you like?
I can only talk from my own experience. And I got to where I was got to by working harder.
Okay.
I think it's only with maturity that you turn that harder into smarter.
I agree. That's a very profound and very practical yet divine answer. I strongly agree. Here's a salute to you.
Thank you.
Deborah, next. Okay. What is the most powerful? A thought, idea, or story? Or all three?
Sorry, a part?
Like a thought. Thoughts.
Okay. So what's more powerful? A thought?
Idea,
or
story?
Well, it's the thought.
Okay, all right. That comes first. That's what my show theme is. Thoughts, ideas, and story of the happiest people. That's where all the biggest successful conceives and begin and germinate in the soil of our mind. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's what we have to work on, right? That's why we listen to shows like this, because if your thoughts aren't aligned with your, how you want that story to end, you got some work to do.
Fantastic. Okay, Deborah, you are the queen and you're a genius in your career and business partner. This question is 3 things which helps to start a new career.
3 things that helps to start a new career. A long-term determination, willing to not give up. associating and having access to experts.
Okay, fantastic.
And the truth is you may not have much in the beginning, but whatever extra money that you have, pouring it into, I'm telling you right now, in my first business, me and my daughter's father, we ate a lot of rice and a lot of peas. Fantastic. I mean, we just didn't have money for both.
Okay, I agree. And I think that's a very valuable information you're going to start a new career. Now tell us 3 things which makes a pleasing personality.
Oh, makes a pleasing personality.
You have pleasing personality. That's where you
yes.
are.
Someone, if you are able to get yourself to a place where you can adapt to the person sitting across the table, then that I believe is a winning personality, because whether you're sitting across the table from a king or a movie star or, you know, a 5th grader or whoever, it's you adapt to the environment and don't expect it to be the other way around.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we all are psychic in the way in the universe. We see things, believe in imagination. According to you, quickly, if you can tell, what is the prediction of 2024 next year?
Oh, well, I do economic, you know, I mean, I go straight to my go-to, which is kind of economic, you know, premonitions and what have you. So here's what I think what's going to happen for 2024. I feel that people are going to be less burdened. And when I say burden, what I mean is that I believe that we're all coming out of something and we're realigning. This 2023 is an incredible abundant time where people are still a little scrambling. There's panic energetically in the air, and there's changes that are making impression upon us. And so I think 2024, we're going to come back into a place of alignment. And those people that have taken on 3 jobs are probably going to really have one strong funneled job. There'll be less confusion. And I think there will be the collaboration and cooperation movement will be established. It will be a new way of thinking. So when new entrepreneurs come up, they won't think about separateness. They'll be thinking of oneness. But 2024, I think we'll have a sense of people will understand their new, who they are now in this new time.
Fantastic. I admire that. Who they are in a new time. The new time, not the old time. New time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. I'm so delighted. Okay, tell us, who inspires you to be the happiest person you are today?
Janis Joplin.
Oh.
Janis Joplin.
Okay. Sandeep, thanks for sharing.
Janis Joplin. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. How do you know someone is broke?
How do I know that someone is broke? How do
broke
I know
with financial, especially in the department of
finance.
finance.
How do I know that someone is financially broke? That's a very interesting question. You kind of got me aghast with that. I think the only thing that comes to me is that when they tell me.
Okay.
I mean, when they tell me, because I don't think you can gauge. Yeah, I think when they tell me.
Okay. So now the second question is opposite to that. How do you know someone is wealthy, according to you?
According to me, I think they have an ease and flow around when I'm talking to them about costs or when I'm talking to them about projects. You don't feel that resistance.
Okay.
You have a conversation more about, is it value to value? Do they see the value? And they have a different way of questioning and understanding. Where when someone is broke, we're not able to pay what it is that you're charging or what have you. It's the number one question they go to. When someone's like, you can tell them everything, but they're like, how much does it cost? They might even ask you how much it costs before you even get out the value to them. But someone who has containment around finance will make the decision based on value, not cost.
What a great example of the broke and the rich, the quality of wealthy and happy people life. I like that. So you already answered my next question. I will not ask you that. But let's go to something related to you, which all women will love. Now, this is the one thing. Please tell us, Deborah, never say that specific word or a sentence when a woman is angry.
When a woman is angry, never... Gosh, I would say don't ask her to repeat herself.
Okay, all right. This is one
Don't
of the
ask
things.
her to repeat herself. Just let it go. I would say don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. Don't ask a question. And sure and heck, don't ask her to repeat herself. Yeah.
My men audience there, please do not take it personally, but this is how it is. She said, never interrupt a woman when she's angry. Okay?
Yeah, let her do her thing.
Let her go. Let her do her things.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, Deborah, tell us, what is the best money advice you have ever received?
The best money advice that I ever received was that for me to be able to attract money in my life, I was going to have to go backwards and examine the money lies or the money beliefs that I was told as a young girl and see how deep rooted they were. So I was raised on a house, money doesn't grow on trees. I have no freaking clue why someone would say that, but it was like I was raised in a house of not have, right? Yeah. So it took me a lot to rewire and get my, my mother's voice particularly out of my head.
True.
And reach further, just go beyond. Yeah.
Great. So same with me. My dad used to tell me always like, my dad never gave me. Why would I give you? I said, well, Dad, you didn't ask several other different time in a different mood and different season. You would have asked only once and you stick to that dialogue. My dad didn't ever give me. Why would I give you, Happy? I said, well, you would have asked second time or third time. And what is my fault if your dad didn't give you? You are capable of giving me, so you should give me.
I know.
I like that. So every home, every family have the saying and logo, and I like that. So thanks for sharing that. Now, tell us about what is the worst advice you have ever received regarding to money.
Wow. You know what? Here's something interesting.
Okay.
I'll share with you one of my defaults. Okay. My default as a codependent, or my default as someone who's empathetic, or my default was that I stay in things too long if they're not working. I'm very hopeful. And so I noticed in one of my companies, it cost me financially to stay an extra two years because I was like hopeful and optimistic and we can make this work. So not knowing when the right time was. Now, so staying in relationship with other people, partnerships, or businesses after the obvious is obvious. Okay. Because you're supposed to stay in there and you're supposed to hang in until you're dying, and so I think somewhere I picked that up, that it was better to stay. And I think also coming from a family where, I experienced, I had, my mom had a couple of divorces, and then I saw how unhappy she was. I was like, well, maybe it's just better to stay. And so I think that overlaid into I stay too long in situations. I used to. I don't anymore. I understand what red flags are, even in business. I ended a collaboration within months, even though it cost me money. And I was like, whoo. Some people would have thought, well, that was an awful experience. I'm like, it could have been worse.
So true. I agree with that. Sometimes my assistants will tell me, sir, why did you do not do that business with that person? He cheated you. I said, why you were saying thanks to him? I said, you know what? It is good in the beginning if somebody cheats, betrays, or hurts you, so you're alert so that you don't let them punish or torture or betray or cheat you for the rest of your life. So I was very thankful for that. So he didn't understand. I understand why it says you remove the people or person or situation smoothly, positively, if you don't need and you're required in your life. I agree. Now, tell us about, we talked about money, we talked about career. Now, what is the secret of a health? Being optimal of your health, or what's the secret of generally about the being healthy?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I think I talked about it before where you actually consider yourself valuable, more valuable than your, here's an interesting example. So when I'm teaching like brain health in particular, and I'm like, look, most of us know what to do. If you don't know what to do from a general standpoint for healthiness, you do know. You know that there's exercise and healthy food. You know if you're eating out of a plastic bag and there's salty chips. I mean, we all know what to do. But I say this to people, if you owned a thoroughbred racehorse that was running the Kentucky Derby, would you give them Starbucks with whipped cream? Would you? So I think truly so much starts with diet. So much starts with diet. So what we digest, who we associate with, what we watch, what we read, what we listen to plays a major part in our health. And so, people are like, oh, it's so expensive to live healthy. But there are a lot of things that you can eat that are healthy, that are not expensive, and invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Vitamins, good products are going to cost some money. But we talked about it
Fantastic.
before, you know.
Agree.
So I think it's about making yourself valuable.
Making yourself valuable is the best thing we can do to invest in our health. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, Deborah, do you agree that one should pick or choose a spouse who is better than you?
I think you pick or choose the spouse that makes you want to be a better person.
Okay.
I think you pick or choose a spouse that when they walk in a room, the butterflies go up into your chest and you're like, I can't believe they're mine.
Ooh, wow, amazing. That's a lovely, romantic, yet practical answer. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what superpower do you wish people could have always?
Oh, the ability to know.
The ability
to make the right decision at the right time. That's so tough.
Good.
So tough.
Deborah, tell us quick. Do you consider good with money or love?
Do I consider that I'm good with money?
Yeah, good with money or love, or even both.
Well, I'm really, really, really good with money.
Money, okay, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really, really good with money, and I think that I'm an amazing person to be in love with. How's that?
Woo!
I treat my people very well.
I agree. That's a preeminent and smart answer you have given right there, both in a smart way and a humble way too. Now, Deborah, we're almost closing to our wrapping up our show. There's a few more questions and we wrap up. Now, imagine, this is the imagination question, okay? 2 imagination questions. 1, imagine, Deborah, if God or universe you believe in, if God makes you a man for a day, what will you do more of and less of?
Oh, if I became a man for a day?
Yes.
So what would I do? What would I do less of? What would I do more of?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, the only thing I could think of is I would completely embrace being a man, and I would go out in the world and I would just experience what it's like to, I don't know, I just think I'd experience what it's like to be treated like a man. What's it like to really be in a man's head? When I see when I see a woman, what do I think? What do I feel? I would just go out and have as many experiences as a man. Maybe I could learn some things as I go back to a woman the next day.
So that is more of. What is the less of?
What would I do less of if I was a man? Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't say that I see women and women the same thing, but I think I'd be stereotypical if I said an answer of I do less in sports. I don't know. I don't have an answer. No
it's
answer.
Okay, no worries. So fast, no answer. No, it's not mandatory. This is not a government voting questions. It's all good. Now, this second imagination question quickly. Deborah, imagine if you would be the host of the show and if I would be the guest of the show, what question you would have asked me?
Oh, okay. So in terms of, whatever made you decide that you wanted to do a show around happy people?
Well,
where did that come from?
That is a very brilliant question you have asked. I don't want to rush, but I will tell you in few words that the theme of my show and the reason and purpose of my show was my vision since childhood to spread happiness by not only being happy by myself, also to spread happiness, thoughts, ideas, and story of the happiest people. Not millionaire, billionaire, saint, poet, clergyman, or lawyer, anything. Happiest people. What I have learned in my journey of life is ultimately, whatever we make or do not make, we seek happiness or we celebrate happiness. So the reason behind my show is I want to bring all the preeminent, powerful, intelligent, aristocratic, and successful people like you who are happiest people. Not only happy in the money department, how many billions they have made in the 6, 7, 8, 10 figures, but how many figures in the lines on their wrinkles on their eyes and their face they have made with happiness. So people like you who share happiness on the show, that is one of my motive and reason to celebrate the journey on earth. And if I'm gone from Mother Earth, these shows will be there forever so the other can become more happier than they are. That's it. Nice.
Great answer. Great answer. Thanks for being on the show today.
Okay, thank you. So now last 2 questions and we wrap up now. Now, what is the message to the beautiful people of the world? What is your message to the beautiful people of the world?
You know what? There's so much beauty in just being yourself.
Okay.
I mean, you have to love you. So get okay with you and get okay bettering you. I personally believe people are like, how do you do what you do? I've gone from not having to having, and I'm not talking about money yet. Sure. Of course, I've gone from not having to having. But what I've gone from is being a young, insecure, not sure about myself, comparing myself to others, thinking I'm not this, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not big enough. You know, this part of my body's not big enough. This part of my body's not small enough. I'm not smart enough. I didn't do this. I didn't have a degree. I've come from all those things of what I didn't have, what I didn't, and all that comparable crap to,
Yes.
I wake up in the morning, I frigging gig myself. I might not gig every part of my day. I might be tired. I might be this, but I'll tell you, if someone was to challenge me on how I feel about myself or my mission or my values, not a smart decision for that person. So I have chosen to love who I am, but constantly be moving and growing towards who I want to be.
To become.
Yes.
Becoming is more important than
so
that thing.
Wherever you are on that spectrum, just, and you know, honestly, just make the right next best step for you.
I love that and admire that. Thanks for sharing, Deborah. It is not really important in our relationship or business. What are we getting in our relationship or what are we getting in our business? Is most important thing, in my opinion and learning, is what are we becoming in our relationship? What are we becoming in our career? That makes most impact in our life. Thanks for sharing that. Now, please tell us, Deborah, and last, how did you like this Happy Conversation Idea Show?
Well, I just loved it. It was so refreshing. I mean, this was refreshing. I loved it. I've never had someone ask me questions like that before, and it gets you to think on the spot. And it fantastic. Just really like the highlight of my day.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad to make your day. And it's a very precious thing that day is very divided into 3 8 hours: sleep, work, and relax. So your day has been made by this show. So I'm honored, and I'm really sincerely want to say thanks so much. And thanks to all the listeners who are watching and listening. Please let us know that what is the one thing or many things you take away from the Deborah's thoughts, ideas, and story. We would like to learn, and Deborah will reply too as well. Deborah's all information will be mentioned below this link on the show on the YouTube, or you can watch or listen on Spotify or Amazon, wherever you podcast channels are. And I want to say and thanks, wherever you are, whoever you are, stay healthy and happy forever. And do not doubt on your intelligence, and listen to this show and all the other shows which makes you more happy. Thanks so much, Deborah, for coming on the show. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you so much.